These mobile versions of the Grand Theft Auto games actually do support cheats, even though officially they say they don't. So a real quick backstory is that Rockstar Games, who created these games, used a third-party developer to port the PC desktop versions of the games over to mobile. So in the end, these mobile versions of these games are just the PC version with some extra features removed. However, the PC cheats are still in the game code. They still work. Anybody who has played these Grand Theft Auto games before knows that the cheats just enhance these games. They make it a lot more fun, and sometimes it makes some of the missions easier to complete. Especially on Android when most people are using the touch controls to play the missions. They say that these games support the gamepad inputs, but if you do that, you would need to map the buttons to match the controller that you connect to it. So it's a little more cumbersome, but since these are PC versions of the games and the PC cheats work, with the exception of San Andreas right here, but I'll go over that in a second. The idea is that you really only have to connect a keyboard to your phone, whether it's Bluetooth or a physical keyboard. They say this also works on iOS. However, I don't know. I haven't tested it on that yet. For right now, it for sure works on Android, so this is what this is about. The phone that I'm playing on in this video is the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, and I have all of the game settings turned up to max everything, max draw distance, max effects, all that good stuff. I have my Mac keyboard here connected to my Android phone via Bluetooth. So you can see right here, Lit's keyboard, it's connected. I'm also going to cover what you can do if you do not have a physical keyboard. This is the one thing that I know what doesn't work on iOS is using a virtual keyboard on the phone if you don't have a physical keyboard or the dongle you need to plug in a wired keyboard. Everything's Bluetooth nowadays. Either way, it'll work. So I'll start here with GTA 3, and really all you have to do is just connect the keyboard because the keys work right away. So I'll press enter. When you press enter, it's the same as tapping the screen. You can use the keyboard to play the game, however, none of the keys are actually mapped correctly to what you think they would do. Besides the arrow keys will move your character and the vehicles around, but everything else is kind of a guessing game, pressing the key on the keyboard to see what it does in the game. I'm not going to cover that right now, just the cheats. So for sure the arrow keys will work to move your character around. One of the most common cheats to use on PC was blowing up all the cars, and that cheat is bang bang bang. So you type that in, and cheat's activated. It's still a little buggy because again they say that these games really don't support cheats, so you might enter a cheat and you might not get the cheat activated message, but something will happen. Another one is to change your character is I like dressing up, cheat activated. FIB agent, so apparently right there I figured one out. I and K is up and down first person. Looks like J and L is left and right first person. Another GTA 3 cheat is give us a tank, which spawns you a random vehicle. What do we get? Landstalker. Let's go to the road. A little more obvious to see what pops up. Alright, give us a tank. Nope, didn't get a tank this time. Try it again. Is this a Stinger? Yep, let's change our character again. I like dressing up. Gang dude, Diablo. Let's try it one more time. I like dressing up. Pedestrian. Let's do invisible cars. Put in the invisible car cheat, which is a nice set of wheels. Looks a little weird. I remember doing this on PlayStation 2. Look at that. I wouldn't save the game with any of these cheats enabled because you don't know what's going to happen. Let's move on to Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Love that opening. But gonna skip it. So the arrow keys can control the menu on Vice City as well. And let's load a game. Oh, looks like enter does not work to select something here. Oh, just tap it. Still doesn't work. That's alright. So here I am in the Ocean Beach Hotel. Arrow keys are working to move. The Vice City also has a cheat to blow up all the cars. I believe it's Big Bang. There you go. Let's do, let's spawn a Sabre Turbo. That code is GET. The game is frozen from that. See, you never know what's gonna happen. Alright, let me fix this. Oh, now that time pressing enter worked. Okay. Alright, so back outside. As I was saying, let's spawn a Sabre Turbo, which the cheat is get there fast. And it crashed the game. Alright, I'll try it one more time to spawn this Sabre Turbo. Get there fast. Cheat activated. I heard a car hit the ground. Where'd it go? There it is. Can't tell what's going on. I haven't figured out all the keys yet to do everything. But you can see that the game can sense the keyboard, because as you're moving around and using the keyboard, it knows that something's connected because the controls disappear so you can play. Let's try a couple more cheats. The Cars Drive on Water cheat is called Seaways. Cheat activated. Let's try it out. If we can make it through the sand, get over here to the ocean. Now look at that. I'm gonna do a couple more cheats, but first I'm going to load a new game. Because you already saw how buggy it is. Let's do Tommy Smokes a Cigarette. That cheat is certain death. Now, that's really hard to tell, but no cheat activated message popped up, but now look at that. Smoking a cigarette. Let's do one more. Character in the game called Candy Sucks. I'll let you look this one up. And it crashed. So let's do certain death again. Get that cigarette. And then to play as the Candy Sucks character, again, you can look that up. Yeah, it crashed again. See what I could do differently here. Let's load the game. Whatever I was playing last. Go outside. Alright, so try it again.
I don't play that game.
There we go. There she is. Now, let's add certain death cigarette. There we go. Now you can play as Candy Sucks smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, I'm not there. Where are you going, man? Watch out.
Out of her nose. Having a keyboard, virtual or physical, connected to the game is very buggy. As you can see, the keyboard is trying to select the whole game. So to start, I'll just use the touch controls. I'll load the game I was playing, and I'll show you how messed up it continues to be with a keyboard. So again, I'm playing on a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, and I have all these games at the max setting, and San Andreas is the most messed up game because of how big it is. So first of all, if you touch any key on the keyboard, the game goes crazy. The only way to really correct it is if you press enter, or if you press one of the arrow keys. You can move CJ around, but as soon as you press something else, the game just kind of goes crazy. But the cheats still work. The third-party developer studio that ported San Andreas over to mobile, they reworked the cheats. They're not the original PC cheats. They added new cheats, and they switched up the cheats for the HD versions of the game. For example, I believe PS3 and Xbox 360 have completely different cheats than PlayStation 2 or PS4. The cheats are a random string of letters. So let's try the jetpack cheat. It's a bunch of random letters. Cheat activated, so I got the jetpack. Center myself, and it looks like we operate it just like a vehicle, so that worked. So now let's spawn a Hydra. Again, it's just another random string of letters. Alright, cheat activated. Where's it at? There it is. That's really loud. Let's get out of that. Let's do one more cheat. Clown mode, circus mode, classic. Let's do... There we go. Recenter everything. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Okay. How about the pedestrians? So that's pretty cool. It just kind of sucks that the keyboard messes San Andreas up so much. Alright, so if you don't have a physical keyboard, let me show you what we need to do. So what we're looking for, if we don't want to use a physical keyboard, is this app here. It's called Hacker's Keyboard. There are a bunch of different gamepad and keyboard apps that you can try to mess with to use with these games, but Hacker's Keyboard has been the best one so far, so I'm going to install it and go over everything with you from here. Go ahead and open it. Now this is where you're going to play with the settings. So you start, we go down the list here. Enable keyboard in the settings. I have all these different things going on. You want to find Hacker's Keyboard and enable it. You'll get kind of this threatening message about them stealing your passwords and personal data. That's alright. Now we go back to Hacker's Keyboard settings. Input method. Pay attention to this. So select Hacker's Keyboard, but go back. Make sure that you have the Show Keyboard button enabled, because this will let you switch between keyboards over here in case that message freaks you out a little bit about them stealing your info. I'll show you. So Hacker's Keyboard, show the keyboard button. If you like the Hacker's Keyboard and you trust them, go ahead and leave it. However, I like to use the Google keyboard, so you can just use this button right here to switch your keyboard input method. If you forgot to enable this on your phone, there's a way to change your input settings in the Android settings. If you want to change your keyboard and all that, you go to General Management, Language and Input, and then the default keyboard, and that'll change it. So just enable this right here to show the keyboard button if you're going to leave Hacker's Keyboard on your phone. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to just connect an external keyboard. Go back to the settings. This one's also important. We need to look for the setting about having a notification turned on. It's kind of hidden in the settings. There we go. Use permanent notification. So now it'll always display in our notifications right here. That's very important. One more thing in the settings. Configure theming and label display. Keyboard theme. There's one. There we go, transparent experimental. It just makes it kind of easier to see when you're pulling it up in the game. And you can test it here if you'd like. See how it's kind of transparent? Might be hard to see on camera. To bring the keyboard back down is just a little down arrow right here. So I'll start with GTA 3 again right here. The virtual keyboard, just a warning, it messes things up a little more than the physical keyboard, but I'll show you here. So let's load a game just to have a fresh start. You can enter cheats here at the home menu, and you're kind of forced to, so let me show you. If you're in the game, you've got the Hacker's Keyboard notification right here to show the keyboard. When you navigate away from the game, it puts you on the pause menu, and the select with the arrow keys and the enter on resume game doesn't always work. Sometimes I'll tap this, it'll resume, and then the keyboard's still up. I'll show you what you can do if you want to enter these cheats in the game. So let's go to the Hacker's Keyboard notification, tap on the name of it here and get the settings button, put you in the settings. So you can change the keyboard height right here. You can lower the height so that it's just above that resume button. That's portrait mode. The height in landscape. I've messed with it before. Like 36% is enough for it to be just above that resume button right here. So I'll show you resume. Now open up the keyboard, see it's smaller, and there's just enough room to go back into the game and use the keyboard in the game. It doesn't work like the physical keyboard with moving around, but you can still type the cheats in. So let's do I like dressing up. So let's do it again. Now, this keyboard is clearly a little too small for my hands, so I'm going to go back to the settings and put it back to what it was, because you can type in the pause menu as I told you. So I'll pull the keyboard down and let's enter "I like dressing up" again. So nothing popped up, but if we go back, it worked. One more thing, when I pull up the virtual keyboard and I go into the pause setting, on my Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, it leaves the navigation bar over the game, and now everything's cut off. So the only way around that I found out is to just tab all your open apps, go back into the game, and now it's back to normal until you pull down the hacker's keyboard again and you want to type in and change your costume. And now I'm a prostitute. Alright, let's move on to Vice City. Before I load up Vice City, I'm going to go back into the settings and look for the key input settings, key settings. I'll show you, hold on. Key feedback settings. For me, when I type on a touchscreen, the haptic feedback is something that I prefer. So vibrate on key press. I'm going to turn that on. Just makes it a little easier. And now I will load up Vice City. So Vice City is the only exception where the keyboard, when you pull it down, actually just pops up in the game like this and stays there on screen. So it makes the cheats a little easier. So let's start, let's do an easy cheat, like the Big Bang, blow up all the cars. See that? It works. Let's do the Candy Sucks character cheat. See, the cheat activated sound doesn't pop, but it works. The developers that ported the game over, they left the navigation bar on the screen so it's not messing with the controls. Let's do the cigarette cheat again. There it is. So let's move on to San Andreas. Now San Andreas is the only exception to this virtual keyboard. So let me show you. So check this out. We can pull down the virtual keyboard. Usually when the game first loads, it'll load over the game, just like that. But any other time when you pull the virtual keyboard down, it's going to go into the pause menu just like GTA 3. And here's the issue. The arrow keys and stuff will work for San Andreas on the menu and stuff. So while you're typing a cheat in, so let's, for example, let me do the jetpack cheat. Let me type that in. Now, bring the keyboard down, and now look, it like selected the game just like the physical keyboard, and then you've got to swipe back over to resume, and the cheat didn't do anything except mess it up just like the physical keyboard, and the only way out of this is to kind of just recenter yourself with 2 fingers. Let's try the Hydra cheat. Didn't work. The virtual keyboard does not want to work with San Andreas. You would need the physical keyboard, and even then you've got to deal with this green border around the game. What that is when you have the physical keyboard connected, the border is selecting what's on screen to interact with, like close it or swipe it. And for some reason with San Andreas, it just selects the whole app and stays there with the keyboard. Let me cover a bonus tip. This is a secret bonus tip for San Andreas, and I'll show you what you need. Go to the Google Play Store and type in Clio Mod. They've created mods for San Andreas and Vice City. So Clio Mod Master are the mods for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on mobile, and it's free. It's the #1 choice for a lot of people. Go ahead and install it. On this page of the Clio Mod Master, there's a bunch of different stuff, but for the basic cheat mods, go to the Clio menu, and there are some ads. So you tap on instruction, and it'll bring up an ad. Don't worry about it. And it'll tell you what to do here. I've taken you this far, so this is up to you to research further, because I have not personally messed with this myself. I figured I have GTA San Andreas on PlayStation 2, and that has a lot of the cheats I would use. I kind of just use the Android version of San Andreas to just kind of relax when I'm out and about. Just whip it out and play it, you know? Don't worry about the cheats, just play it as it is. So there you go. That's how you can use cheats on the Grand Theft Auto mobile versions.